Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 22 with the Brooklyn Dodgers, or more, I should say, the Mickey Mantles. But to say we had a pretty good season is probably underselling it. We missed the playoffs by a single game, and that's pretty damn impressive. That we have really made this team a special one. And right, I can't take all the credit, of course. We saw Mickey freaking Mantle, and he's still really good at baseball. And I don't really think there's a pretty big chance that he won't win MVP again. Especially because we were so close to winning it. By the way, that would be his 4th MVP if he wins this season. Which is pretty incredible if you think about it. We have some coaching offers in. We really need to fix the pitching staff. It's not that we're like terrible, but it's definitely limiting our ceiling. We're never going to be the best team we possibly can be without another quality starter or two. Hank Aguirre is getting better, but he's still a little bit too green for me to trust him with meaningful appearances here. But I think the lineup is pretty solid. In terms of upgrades to pursue in the draft, trade is obvious, or starting pitcher is obviously number 1. Beyond that, though, I wouldn't mind another... No, because you have Bill Mazeroski to cover second base. When Reich Schoendienst can't play anymore. It pretty much has to be a starting pitcher. There's not really anything else that we could really make a substantial improvement with. There's not really another option that I can see. Another player that I can look at and say, yes, this player would make our team significantly better. Jackie Brandt turning in a better second season would be very welcome. But I mean, Minnie Mignoso was a pretty big coup toward the end of last season. And if Jackie Brandt continues to develop, I think we'll have one of the very best outfields in the majors. The other possibility would be getting some really young players at positions that we don't have a lot of depth at. Like, at some point, Eddie Robinson will actually show his age. And once that happens, then we'll need to replace him. But we'll see what happens. For now, though, let us go ahead and begin simming. Right. Yeah, Red Embry doesn't really move the needle anymore. We really need to see Bob Turley get better. I think that's one of the only easy solutions. I wouldn't even say easy, but I think it's one of the only solutions to our starting pitching problems. Is to see him lock down his control and movement so that he can become the pitcher that he can be. Okay, lots of people like my offers, as they should. And we've gotten a few signatures, which is excellent news. Okay, so Babe Herman, who was which coach again? He's my A-ball coach. He got a better deal. Can you please stop defaulting to bench coach? I'm gonna offer you $5,000. The Bishop of Keys sounds like a very obscure religious leader. Like a very cool one who's got like some sort of ceremonial role. Okay. Gold Glove. A one for Mickey Mantle of all people. Sherm Lawler got one, and so did Red Sherndines. Although I shouldn't be too surprised about Mickey Mantle, it's easy to forget that Mickey Mantle was a pretty damn good center fielder before he stepped in that storm drain in Yankee Stadium that fucked up his leg. And that basically took him out of being a great center fielder. But in his early days, he was excellent. Some Silver Sluggers. 2/3 of my outfield. My third baseman. My pitcher. I got Manager of the Year again, which is pretty fantastic. And then unanimous MVP again. Although that's not a surprise, low-key, check out Don Hoke finishing at 5th. That's quite surprising, but very welcome. Very welcome indeed. I guess an upgrade at third base could also be a good idea, thinking long-term with the expectation of them pushing Hoke over to first, which he's actually a better fit for. But I'm certainly not going to question him when he had such an amazing season for us. Let's go ahead and jump ahead to Hall of Fame voting. Okay, so the Reds want you to become their pitching coach. I would very much like to extend your contract. Thanks, mate. I do really like coach poaching. I think it's a really cool feature that they added to the game. I just wish the coaches gave more feedback when they decide not to sign for you. Or that they made an actual counter offer. Because it can get pretty silly chasing down one specific coach for like 8 weeks. Alright, it's ballot time. Starting again with the first timers. Stan Hack seems like a pretty good choice. He does have 3,000 hits. I find it hard to believe he wouldn't make the Hall of Fame. Clyde McCullough, nope. Van Mungo was actually a pretty good pitcher, it looks like. So I think he is worthy of the Hall as well. So I think both of them will probably sail in as first ballot guys, which should hopefully open up some spots for some down ballot guys if there's anybody worth considering. I do like Carl Fisher. Give him a big old vote. I'm also good with Roy Henshaw. Just because a pitcher doesn't have 300 wins doesn't mean he's not worth it. Maybe try to get Pat Malone in. Although I don't like his chances necessarily. Mel It seems like taking him out of the Giants? That's where he played, right? Yeah, Mel was... No, I don't remember. Real life, please. Yeah, he played for the Giants, that's right. Where in real life he had one of the most dramatic splits between away hitting and home hitting. I think this is good. I don't really feel the need to vote anyone else in. If I were going to guess, I bet Mungo and Hack both make it. And beyond that, I'm not sure. I am borderline considering Bill Delancey because he had a pretty great peak. Maybe he would be worth voting for. I don't know, though. I don't like the idea of establishing a precedent of voting in people less than 1,000 hits. But the man also had 140 homers. You know, I've got some space on my ballot. I will vote for Bill Delancey. And let's just see how he does. I may not vote for him next season, but I'll vote for him now. And see what we can get out of him. How the hell do you have a concussion in the off-season? Oh, damn, son. But also, that is one hell of a concussion, my guy. Like, damn. So there's some pretty good players in there. We got Roger Maris and Tony Kubek, for instance. But I'm hoping this is a deeper draft with a lower seat, with a lower top tier. And I might actually be getting my hopes here. Okay. So, the pretty clear choice here seems to be Don Cardwell. We take a look at him. He's a mighty fine pitcher. He's got 3 pretty good pitches, lots of stamina, good stuff and control. His movement could be a bit better. I'm not going to overthink this. Welcome to the Brooklyn Dodgers, Don Cardwell. Next pick. Gross. Yeah, I don't really see Benny Daniels having an amazing major league career. I think Larry Raines is a decent choice. Although I could just draft like a premier reliever. Yeah, I'm gonna get Red Witt. I think he's just a better choice. I mean, Seth Moreland is a little bit better overall, but I really like the fact that he throws hard. So I think we will take Red Witt. Get ourselves some quality there. Nope. Yeah, there's really nothing here that really excites me. Is there anyone who has really good strikeout stuff that's not just a reliever? I can take Seth Moorhead. Yeah, I'm fine with just letting my scouting director pick who he wants. I'm not that interested in fighting him. Cardwell seems like a good choice, though. I definitely think Cardwell's got an inside track on a starting pitching position for this year's Brooklyn Dodgers. Especially as a decent spring. Otherwise, depending on how the rest of the roster looks, you might consider leaving him in the minors for a short time. So, Rule 5 draft time. Nobody important is eligible. But I could just put Dick Tomanek on there, but he's not even that important to me. But I don't want to lose him for nothing, so let's quickly try to trade him. And nobody wants him. That's fine. Yeah, it's really not that great a market. What would I even want to consider Rule 5 drafting? I can't really think of anything. Like, short of there being, like, a brilliant starting pitcher being secretly available, and there isn't, I think we just skip it. I don't think there's anything to be had, really. He is kind of a friend of us, is Pat Malone. He had been a great piece to our Cardinals teams. And he did come close. Let me know in the comments if you want me to vote Pat Malone and his, Veterans Committee kind of stuff. But I'm not that bothered by him not making it. Surprised that Stan Hack got fewer votes than Van Mungo. I mean, 3,000 hits is about as strong a guarantee of making the Hall of Fame as there is. Apart from PED type stuff. You're raising my budget. It's very kind of you. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Okay. So here's a question. And this is something that came up in the comments, so thank you very much for the person who mentioned it. We might want to be checking the trade market a bit more frequently as a way to try to make some upgrades to various parts of our team. And I agree with that in principle. So maybe we start now here in the preseason and just see what kind of offers there are that we could make. So Mike Garcia has consistently been one of the most durable and reliable starting pitchers in the major leagues. He doesn't throw all that hard, so he's never going to be a big strikeout guy. But he would offer a very nice, very useful... he's won the Mike Smith Award only one time. Mike Garcia would be a pretty decent upgrade. Spec Shea would not be. I'm not letting you trick me. But Mike Garcia might be. Right now, Garcia would technically be my number 2 behind Willard Nixon. I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask. What could I offer you? I've got a lot of relief prospects. What if I offered you Harry Cheedy? Does that expand? It sure doesn't. Okay. Hank is never going to be a starter. Maybe I can take advantage of his... Bingo. That's what I was waiting for. I will happily make this trade. Because Aguirre's never going to throw enough innings to be a great starter, and I've got loads of great relievers. I don't need to mess around with that. Okay. So already the rotation's looking a little bit better. And this means that I can take it a bit slower with Cardwell. A lot of maybe lock down that movement. So let me go ahead and put you on the IL, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to zip up to spring training starting. Perfect. Cardwell, I will actually try to win a spot in spring training. And let's just get some decent players up and give them a chance. Cool. I want to give Don Cardwell Ray Krohn's spot just because Krohn is a reliever in my opinion. And then we'll just demote Red Witt to a plain old middle reliever. I just want to give Cardwell plenty of reps in spring training to see what he can accomplish in these few weeks. That's interesting. I don't like the direction you're going for most of that, though. Okay, that is a mean thing to do, game. He's a little too important to how the team is on average that I wish you wouldn't injure him. I think it's like a foot injury if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember what it is exactly. And then I'm just going to sim till the games are done, and then we can decide how we're going to set things up. You know, let's sim up to opening day because I want to see how players develop, maybe. You know what? Give me a scouting report on Don Cardwell, please. Has your movement improved? By a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. Your control got better. I think one more season of Gene Bearden as starting pitcher. No. Red Embry, maybe. Like, I kind of don't want to rush Cardwell. Especially since we got Mike Garcia. I don't want to rush Cardwell. So I think I sent him to the minors. Gene Conley goes to the minors. I'm going to try trading Gene Bearden. And I'm going to see if I can get a better starting pitcher out of him. Nope, I'm getting a bunch of really terrible players offered to me. That's alright then. Brains will be back in 2 weeks. I don't need to rush anybody to the majors to handle with that. Jim Fridley is not very good. Bill Taylor has decent pop, and so to that end, I don't mind having him on the roster. I definitely don't need 3 catchers. I like having Red Embry as our 6th starter. I think that's a really good idea. Ed Albrecht, it's hard to get excited about you. How many pitchers do I need to get rid of at least 1 more, maybe 2. Yeah, look, Kemmerer, you might be a great reliever one day, but I've just got better relievers. So both of you make the Major League roster. Congratulations. And Bill Mazeroski, you can go back to the minors as well. Okay, that's our opening day roster, so let's get it set up. I probably don't really need 11 pitchers, but I'm going to do it anyway. Because our pitchers are really freaking good. At least our bullpen is. So Garcia is going to be the new ace. Then Willard Nixon. Then Turley. Then Garver. Then Embry? Yeah, Embry as our 5th starter makes a lot of sense. Bearden, you're going to be emergency starter, long relief. Ray Krohn is going to be our stopper. He's been too good for too long. And then the rest of you are going to be middle relief. And you'll find yourself a role as the game proceeds. The reason by the way, the reason that Krohn is staying as is not being turned back into start is because he doesn't have the stamina for it. And more importantly, he's been so valuable as a reliever that I don't really see a point in worrying about that. Okay, the lineup. Ooh, no, Mickey Mantle hits third. There was a brief moment there where I thought about hitting Mignoso third, but no, Mantle hits third. So who hits cleanup? I guess Eddie Robinson is the 2nd best power hitter on the team. I do like having Mignoso hit second. Don Hoke hits fifth. But who's our leadoff guy? That's actually a really good question. Because Red Schoendienst went from being an above-average contact hitter to a very, very not good contact hitter. I think Hoke is going to be our leadoff guy. I simply can't... I'd rather have a guy that hits 20-plus leadoff homers than a guy who can't hit very well consistently. So hitting fifth will be Sherm Lawler. And then Schoendienst. We're going to have him bat sixth. Then Wayne Cossey. Now, Wayne Cossey is not far from being a leadoff guy in his own right. I just want to see him get a little bit better hitting for contact. But I definitely can see him being our long-term leadoff guy. Actually, you know what? Wayne, I bet you can handle leadoff right now. It just makes the whole team better if Don Hoke is in a position to actually drive people in with his homers. So I kind of like having a bit lower in the order. And then Jim Small, unless Ed McGee is a really great center fielder, which he's not, Jim Small is going to be our starting center fielder. Hopefully not for long, but you know. Willie Miranda backs up at shortstop. Willie Miranda. Harry Heinebrink backs up at second. I'm going to have Miranda back up at third. And then we're going to swap. I wish Garagiola was a little bit better. I kind of wish I had a better backup catcher. Because I'd love to give Lawler a few less games each season so that he's there when we need him. But I just don't trust Garagiola to play a sizable percentage of the team's games. I just don't. Oh, I forgot about Billy Martin. Billy Martin's our primary backup at second. And Heinebrink can back up everything else. Billy can also back up at first every now and again. That doesn't hurt us. Bill Taylor will back up in the corners. And Ed McGee will back up at center. I don't know why, but he's slightly less bad than Taylor would be at center. Bill Taylor's also going to be our primary pinch hitter. No, sorry, Billy Martin will be, because Martin's a little bit more consistent as a hitter. And then Garagiola can be our tertiary guy. And then as far as our pinch runners are concerned, Willie Miranda, I guess. No. I really don't have one. That's fine. Pitching staff's already set. And we are good to start the season then. We have a lot riding on Mike Garcia this season. If Mike Garcia can be the stabilizing force in the rotation and lift the rest of the team, I think that could be really important for us. Bill Mazeroski isn't far from the big leagues. Red Schoendienst is not aging well. And that's not a surprise, by the way. Players who have a contact and speed profile tend to age at a much less good rate than players who have, say, discipline and power. They're really great when they're young, but yeah, I don't even know if I like Russ Chance's at the Hall of Fame though. The real life version made the Hall, but he also had a few more hits, and it's also one of the weaker, Hall of Fame choices in my opinion. Because he basically for a good batting average, and hit a lot of doubles, but he's never like a premier power hitter. But our version stole way more bases. That might play into whether or not he makes the Hall at some point. I think he's borderline. I think he would have to get closer to 3,000 hits in my opinion. But let's go ahead and send the first month of the season. They both cleared waivers. I almost said wafers. Waivers. That is not surprising in the least. Okay, we get Jackie Brandt back, which is fantastic news. Ed McGee, go to hell. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be that mean, but the fact is he holds us back. Okay, now, the critical question is, where does Jackie Brandt fit on this team? What is he best at? Well, he's a really great power hitter. Also, holy shit, Sherm Lawler. I think he's gonna bat 7th. Which is not a reflection on him. It's literally, I don't know where else to play him. Because I don't want Brandt playing over, say, Hoke or Lawler. Do I? No, if I have Brandt hit 5th and Hoke hit 6th... No, Lawler's hitting too good this season. They're all hitting amazing. Maybe not Minnie Mignoso. But it's way too soon to tell how good anyone actually is hitting yet. We kind of have an embarrassment of riches in the lineup. But the only player I wouldn't call above average offensively is Red. And Red is still a great second baseman. So I'm going to take that. Like, he's not going to hit 26 triples. That would be ridiculous. It'd be cool if he did, though. Fanning these nuts. Ooh, 300 homers for Eddie Robinson. Ooh, he's off to a bad start. But I mean, look, Sherm Lawler hitting almost 400 sure makes up for any issues that Eddie Robinson might be having. I can't say I think that's likely to stick, but we'll definitely see. Okay, good. Alright, Boston, what are you offering me? I don't really care. This is just like a meaningless trade for the sake of making a trade. I don't think I'm going to do that. Mickey Mantle off to a cold start. Unfortunate. Well, I mean, cold for Mickey Mantle is still one of the best players in the majors, so I guess I can't complain about the guy that won 4 consecutive MVPs. It's like he's having a bad season. It's just maybe not the best season he could be having. Mike Garcia is not off to a great start. His walk rate has gone up significantly. Almost a walk per 9. I have to assume that'll sort itself out, though. He's been pretty consistent over his career. Hopefully that settles down. Bob Curley, we gotta figure something out with you. The homers right now are killing you, and that's a new and not good feature of your game. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Let's have another month for now, and then we'll make some decisions and see if there's some people we could add and make some changes to improve our team. Okay, Don Cardwell picking up control is great news, but he's losing stuff. He's 6'4". I'm kind of hoping he puts a little bit more on that fastball of his. Eddie Robinson was hitter of the month. That's great news. All right. So overall, the team is about what I expected. I'm going to quickly bump up Don Hoke in the order, because the man's fucking slugging 631, which is just redonkulous. In fact, I'm going to have him bat 5th. As predicted, Sherman Lawler has cooled off. Back to what we're used to seeing. I'm not upset with this at all. His name is Sherm after all. Pitching. I mean, thank goodness for Ray Krohn. Yeah, Bob. Here's my issue with you, my friend. We are a team that is trying to compete for the World Series. We're trying to win a pennant. I kind of can't afford to keep you on the team to figure it out. So I got a couple options here. Option 1. I call up Don Cardwell, give him your spot, and let you improve your craft in the minors. Option 2. I decide you're never going to pan out as a top-tier starter, and I cut my losses. Option 3. I just kind of soak it and hope that you figure it out. The fact is, Cardwell is better than you are right now. And I know that there's another level to you that no other pitcher on my roster has. But the fact is, you're not getting better. You're consistently turning in the same numbers year in and year out. And as long as you walk more people than you strike out, the strikeouts are never going to be worth it. So I think I'm going to send you to the minors and see if we can figure out your shit. Don Cardwell, welcome to the major leagues. I think that's the right move. I'll also quickly kick the tires and check on the trading block. You're not suckering me into trading for Spec Shea. I know his limitations. Ralph Branca, Ray Martin, I'm happy with this. About the only thing I wouldn't mind would be an upgraded catcher, but there isn't going to be a great catcher available. Yeah. Pete Rise would upgrade our defense in center, but I don't think he'd make for a better offensive player in center. Boy. Pete's kind of had it rough because for whatever reason, they just decided he's not good enough to play every day. I feel kind of bad for the guy, but it's not up to me to recycle his career. I mean, I could just sign him as I could trade for him as a backup. Because my current backup center fielder is no great shakes, but I think we're fine. I don't want to mess with a good thing. Okay. All right, my first base coach's contract is up. He's a pretty good first base coach, he is, though. So let's go ahead and offer him a deal to come back. And then everyone else gets an extension. Let's keep this winning team together. So, who of the bros made the All-Star team? Ray Krohn made it again. Eddie Robinson, Red Schoendienst, Don Hoke, Wayne Cossey, and Mickey Mantle. That's a lot of All-Stars. It seems like people think we're a pretty good team, and I can't say I disagree with them. We'll just send to the end of the month, and then we'll decide if there's any other changes we'd like to make. Okay. Yeah, if you can get this walk rate in the minors, in the majors, you'll be a much better player. I just don't think you can do that in the majors. You might just be a quadruple A type of player. Okay. Alright, our defense is pretty bad. I hesitate to ask who's hurting us because I think I kind of know the answer to that. Because it's going to be Jackie Brandt, Wayne Cossey, and Don Hoke. Am I right? Wayne Cossey, Jackie Brandt, Minnie Mignoso, and Don Hoke. Yeah. That is a problem. Do all my pitchers have much better FIPS than they do ERAs? Because that seems to suggest that they're pitching better than their ERAs say. Willard Nixon certainly looks like he... do I not have FIP minus as one of my views here? Or as one of my things? I don't. Yeah, give me that FIP minus, yo. Yeah, it looks like Willard Nixon, Mike Garcia, and Don Cardwell are suffering a little bit because of my defense. Oh, sorry. I was thinking the wrong place. It's Willard Nixon and Ned Garver. Actually, looks like my defense is helping. Isn't it? Yeah, because if FIP minus over 100 means their FIP is worse than their ERA. Yeah, I don't really think it's the defense. I just think I don't have quite good enough pitching. So let's kick the tires on a rotation upgrade. Just starters, please. Bubba Church. I mean, yeah, you're better than Red Embry, but that's not saying a whole lot. I'm just not convinced that... Look, there's a couple things that I think will lead us to... Okay, Wayne Cossey not hitting well is not a great look either. But... Let's keep going. The problem is there isn't a big enough pitcher on the trade block that would move the needle. And I don't want to disrupt my offense that's working pretty damn well just to improve the defense. I think I'd just rather have a really potent offensive team. And then, like, it's not my pitchers are pitching badly. And the bullpen in particular has been excellent. Red Witt maybe needs a few less innings because he just walks too many people, but I'm not upset with him. Ray Krohn is once again one of the most valuable pitchers on my team. Let's just keep going. Nope. I'll tell you what, though. People desperately want Russ Kemmerer. I will shop him around without hesitation. I mean, I could get Bubba Church. I'm just not convinced he'd be much of an upgrade. I'll tell you what, though. Hal Smith would definitely be an upgrade. Easy choice. And then I'm going to flip Garagiola. And we're going to see what kind of offer I can get for him. I don't want to trade with my old teams, otherwise I would definitely think about Jim Bagley Jr. But I don't like trading with old teams if I can avoid it. Look, I'll trade with Ray Jablonski just because he gives me a bit of depth in the minors. And in case something happens to Eddie Robinson, but Hal Smith is a pretty great trade for me. In that he's not only a very talented player, but now I can actually start spelling Sherm Lawler a bit so that he's not overextended given the fact he's already 32. If I'm having him play once a week, I think that just makes us a better team. Plus, Hal Smith can also be one of our primary pinch hitters. I need better pinch hitters. I need to stop being obsessed with Bill Taylor's power because it's the only thing he has. Yeah, you know what? I want to try to acquire a good backup outfielder. I'm going to trade Harry Cheedy, and I'm looking for outfielders. Joe DiMaggio? No, I don't want anyone that's too good. Because my goal is just to find a quality backup. And someone can offer us good offense off the bench. And that person was a center fielder, so much the better. Like, I kind of like Gil Cohen. He's a really decent hitter, and I think he'd be an excellent addition to the team. Yeah, let's do it. Like, Bill Taylor, whatever his deal is never going to be a big contributor. I mean, even last year, he was just barely above replacement level. Whereas a guy like Gil Cohen can back up any of our positions effectively and is a pretty talented hitter, so he'll really give us a lot of depth. He's certainly not going to be kicking out any of my starters. That's for certain. But just having him as an option, as a pinch hitter, but just generally speaking, makes me feel a lot better about our chances. If somebody gets hurt, I don't have to worry about who's going to fill in now and in the outfield. So I think that's a really good call. Damn. I kind of don't want to bring up anybody. I kind of want to let sleeping dogs lie right now. Plus, I can bring people up anytime I want to, so I'm not that annoyed by it. One last check of the trading block. Nope. Hey, good work, Ray Jablonski. Good work. And let us simulate to the end of August. Okay, well, I said I wanted to kill Cohen to have us a quality backup, and I'm certainly going to need one now. I do need to call up an outfielder. I could actually call up Jablonski and just have him as a backup first baseman and just make Jim Small be the backup for the rest of the season. So we're going to move Jackie Brandt to right and Cohen to center. Because Cohen's actually a pretty talented center fielder. And then Small, I'm going to have you back up all 3 outfield positions. And then Jablonski, I'm going to have you back up. That's not Jablonski at all. I'm going to have you back up at first. And I'm also going to make you my new primary pinch hitter. Did I put him on the 60-day or did I put him on the 10-day IL? Oh, sorry, it's a 15-day IL. That's fine. I'm not going to worry about that. I mean, Trilla's getting better movement. The problem is getting worse at control. And that's going to limit his future in the majors, I think. Booyah! We won the fucking pennant. Who's Bill Bradford, and why do I care that he's calling it a career? Anyway. So, who are we facing in the World Series, I wonder? Ooh, who's in the draft this year? Veda Pinson, Orlando Cepeda, Frank Howard, Norm Cash, and Dick Stewart. That's a lot of beef right there in terms of premier offensive home run hitters. That's a lot of beef. Oh, we're still waiting to see who's going to be our opponent. It looks like there's a play-in game to see whether the White Sox or the Tigers are going to be the National League component. Biggest, most important decision to make on the playoff roster, I just need to make sure that... Really? Who's on the active roster that I can't add? Oh, Ray Jablonski. I can't have him on the roster. That's unfortunate, but that's alright. Looks like it's going to be the Chicago White Sox. So, before we go into the World Series, let's talk about how the season went. I like my batting stats one because I can look at a lot of things very, very quickly here. So that Mickey Mantle guy had another pretty great season. That might be 5 MVPs in a row for him. Red had a really nice bounce back season. I'm actually very, very impressed. I genuinely thought we'd be thinking about replacing him at the end of the season, but he's actually come through very, very well. Wayne Cossey more than earned his stripes as a quality sophomore. You know, his defense was pretty bad. Maybe move him to third? No, he's not the arm for it. Don Hoke turned in another excellent season. Some of his homers became triples, which is kind of fun. It doesn't really make too much of a difference, but it is kind of fun. Eddie Robinson is actually starting to age now, which I guess is legal. I guess he can do that if he wants. Jackie Brandt proved that he belongs in the majors. An excellent season for him. Sherma Lawler was a big contributor to the team's success. And Gil Cohen. He wasn't a Dodger for very long, but when we needed him, he was there. And that's excellent news. I am pretty happy overall with how this season went. But Wayne, the real question is, are you going to get better at shortstop? Because your physical tools are not awful. You've got decent range, you're not real error prone, and you're okay with your arm. So the question becomes, your range is actually better. What's the difference here? I mean, you did play more games, so that can't be hidden. You struggled on the likely plays and the... Oh, what the heck is that called? The even balls. That's actually where Wayne Cossey fell short. So even implies that you were getting 50% of them. He's at under 50. Way under 50. He's at about a third. And this is the problem. He's pretty good on the routine stuff. Okay at the likely stuff. Not great, but actually he's bad at the likely stuff too. I'm hoping it's just experience, and that the more he plays shortstop, the better he'll get. Because his physical tools suggest to me that he can handle shortstop. And if he can't, then we may need to make some hard decisions in a season or two. But for now, I'm perfectly satisfied. Let's look at the pitching staff. This is the one thing we desperately tried to upgrade this season, and we need to see how well we did. So, Mike Garcia proved to be an excellent import for us. He basically gave us what he's been giving us seasons before, the Big Bear, and he was an important contributor for our team. Really happy with his acquisition. He really made a big difference for us. Willard Nixon just keeps doing Willard Nixon things. He's never been the flashiest or best starter, but he's always been really reliable. And I'm happy to see how well he's been. Ray Krohn is the MVP. Having a reliever who's so consistently fantastic has given us a massive edge when the game gets late. I'm very, very happy that we have him. Red Embry had a nice little bounce back season. Didn't play the whole season, but didn't need to. And Don Cardwell had a pretty solid rookie season, which is excellent news. Definitely better than Bob Turley. Now, am I saying Bob Turley is gone forever? Of course I'm not. But I am saying that I need to see this control get better. Until that control gets better, you may be working on your craft in the minors. That is all it is, and that is how it is going to be. So, my friends, let us see how we can do here. An excellent early game lead. Very encouraging. Look at that. Back-to-back victories. Yes, I know. Bill Bradford is retiring. Why do you keep talking about it? Rookie got lit up a little bit. Got lit up. A little concerned by Mickey Mantle. You're holding back on us, Mick. Really? Well, that's 3 months. I don't really care, though, because it's the playoffs. I can't look. Come on, rookie. Damn it. What the fuck, Mickey Mantle? What the actual fuck? I'm not saying this is entirely your fault, but what the fuck? How do you play that badly when we need you so desperately? I mean, Jackie Brandt was nothing to sing about either, but Mickey Mantle's who we needed. I mean, we let this get away from us. This was absolutely our series to win, and yeah. And the rookie got creamed. But it shouldn't have been the rookie's fault. This team is too damn good to be only scoring 2 runs in a game. Ever. We're too good. And the absolute vanishing of Mickey Mantle in the playoffs is why we didn't win the World Series. I mean, that's what it is. Your number 3 hitter should be one of your best, most consistent contributors. The entire season he does great. He gets to the he gets to the playoffs, and he lays a great big old fart. Could our pitching have been better? Absolutely. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Like, Mark Garcia was okay. Willard Nixon was fine. Don Cardwell got destroyed. But this was a very, very winnable game. Winnable series. We should have won. And I certainly hope we get to go back to the playoffs again soon so that we can prove that we do deserve to win the World Series. But Mickey, I hope you take a long, hard look at your postseason preparation, because 5 hits and 27 at-bats ain't going to get it done, amigo. Figure out your shit. Like, Jackie Brandt, to be fair, also had a really bad series as well. And so did Red Sherndines and Don Hoke. But the fact of the matter is, 3 of those players are not Mickey Mantle, and one of them is Mickey Mantle. A 4-time, probably 5-time MVP can't come up short when it matters most. So I'm most annoyed with Mickey Mantle. Come on, Mick, get your shit together. I don't care if you are going to win your 5th consecutive MVP. Get it together, dude. Get it to fucking together. Fuck you, White Sox. Oh, well. Mickey. Anyways, you could also argue, hey, maybe it was Minnie Minoso getting hurt. Maybe if Minnie had been on our roster, who was an excellent contributor all season long, maybe having him back on the Major League roster would have helped push us over the lip. And I'm certainly not upset with how the team performed in the regular season. We won 96 games. We made the World Series. It would have been nice to have won it. But I still think there's more room for us to grow as a team. And that's really good news. It's always good to have an extra level that you can try to hit and get where you need to go. But that'll be it for this episode. I hope you all are enjoying the series thus far. I haven't heard much about OOTP 23 yet. That's very curious. I'm wondering if things might be delayed for the new game or they're just waiting a bit, but we're gonna carry this franchise into OTP 23, so you don't have to worry about that. How many more years do we have with the Dodgers, I wonder? Oh, we moved to LA. Oh, we just moved to LA. That's right. We just moved to LA. Because you were still Brooklyn last season. But now we're in LA. So we just got lots of time left. And I hope that's not our last trip to the World Series. But we shall see what happens, my friends. Until then, this has been Avgardian. Thank you for watching. And I bid you good day.